Okay, so mobile folding technology is upon us, and we've seen it with phones, smartphones, and also tablets. Now, is this the future of mobile technology? Let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, over the years, we've seen, tech manufacturers try their best to remain as competitive as they possibly can. And that meant trying new things, trying to think outside the box, and trying these new things also meant trying new form factors. Now, I'm not going to go back all the way back to like the Sidekick and seeing all those different form factors, but if you look as far as just the past few years, and you take a look at some of the interesting form factor that we've seen, and I'm talking specifically in the case of folding phones, for example, where it went from what people originally thought was just a gimmick. People always thought a folding phone is a gimmick, to something pretty ubiquitous, to the extent where companies that usually play it safe are actually giving this new and very interesting form factor a second look. And I don't want to go too deep into the details, but I want you to think about it in a very simple way, just conceptually, in a very simple way. If you think about just the concept of the folding phone, something that opens up into a huge screen, so you get that huge amount of screen real estate, and can fold into something that you just put in your pocket. So something convenient enough that you can actually carry around in your pocket, along with the fact that there is actual practical usage of this technology, at least in my opinion. Now imagine that same scenario that we just went over. You had a phone that folds open into kind of a tablet, I guess. Now, so imagine that scenario this time around with a tablet. It's expensive, but available indeed. Remember the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Fold? And some of you may have seen it already just in pictures, or even just watch videos on it. I believe MKBHD dropped the video on this, and some other mega YouTubers that dropped videos on it. So you have something like that that folds into kind of like a book, and it spares you the inconvenience of carrying a large tablet if you don't have, the means of carrying it in a more convenient way because of its kind of bulky size. And it kind of gives us a preliminary or more of a glimpse into that segment of the folding market. And now with that same spirit, without delving too deep into, which company makes foldable phones and which companies don't, you have to think about the fact that even the almighty Apple, I just want to say that the almighty Apple actually has a few foldable iPhone patents. Granted, a company like Apple would put patent on everything, including dirt, if they could do that. But still, it tells you that, with them showing interest and showing such serious interest, it tells you that the future is definitely foldable. By the way, if you are visiting for the first time, well, welcome to the channel, of course. I'm certainly hoping that you're enjoying the content so far, and if you are, I truly appreciate that. Please do me a huge favor. Hit both the like and the subscribe button there. It's a tremendous boost to this channel, and again, I truly appreciate that. Anyway, so besides Apple, Samsung also seems to have locked in some patents, and as far as this particular one goes, I definitely see Samsung making many more foldable phones and tablets in the future. I mean, they pretty much are one of a few companies that took the initiative to make and be successful at making fantastic foldable phones. So again, I have no doubt they will do the same with tablets. They already make the best tablet on the Android platform, right? So you have those two factors truly playing, in the favor of Samsung. So the first one being they make the best tablet out there on the Android platform. The second factor being they are possibly the best foldable phone manufacturer out there. And I'm saying possibly because I know there are quite a few out there that are actually very good. In my opinion, it's the best foldable phone out there, the Z Fold 2 or maybe the upcoming Z Fold 3. So those two equal just more foldable devices in the future. In fact, a few months ago, there were rumors of this folding tab by Samsung that would drop sometime next year, like sometime at the beginning of next year. And that also, you may have seen pictures. Of course, it's all rumor, but very exciting stuff. And I want to make one thing clear here. I'm not saying that Samsung is the only company that makes foldable devices. Again, I'm pretty sure I've said that at the beginning. In fact, a company like TCL, which is actually a company that I really like, they made a prototype tri-foldable tablet. Well, they called it a tri-foldable phone because you could fold it in three and it would be a really thick phone. But when you unfold it, it would go and would get as large as a Tab S6. So it would get up to, I believe it went from 6.5 inches to 10 inches. That is the size of a regular tablet. And it really gets me excited to see things like that, to see boundaries being pushed by these manufacturers. Again, it was a prototype, of course. As I mentioned, it was pretty thick when folded in three, but I know things get better. That's technology. Things just continue to evolve. I don't know how long that's going to take for things to evolve to a level where it's, it becomes just common for every device out there to just be foldable, but I just can't wait to see what they come up with in the future. The one that Samsung is rumored to be dropping next year, that foldable tab, is still tagged as the current foldable line of Samsung. It's going to be a Galaxy Z Fold tab. And I'm sure it's not going to be cheap, right? It's definitely not going to be something that's easily affordable. I'm pretty sure it's going to follow the same footsteps as the current Z Fold line, right? When the Galaxy Fold came out, it was expensive. The Z Fold 2 came out, it was $2,000. I don't know how much the Z Fold tab is going to cost, but it will not be cheap. That's for sure. But then again, this is just rumors, right? So nothing has been confirmed, and we don't even know how the chip shortage is going to affect that. We don't know if they're going to push it back, if they're going to maintain that rumored dropping or that rumored drop of the early 2022. But we'll get to see. What do you think of that? What do you think of this crazy idea? Is this something that excites you, or are you just part of those people who say, well, no, this is all gimmick, there's not true practical usage to all that? Let me know in the comment section. But in either case, it just seems like Samsung is really trying its best to pull away from the traditional, form factors that we are so accustomed to, when it comes down to mobile devices, right? Because if you look at what's happening with the Galaxy Note line, I know some people still don't believe that Samsung is killing off that Galaxy Note line, which we are still hoping that they bring it back. But anyway, going back to that point, they are supposedly killing the Note line so that it could be replaced by the Z Fold line, so a foldable phone. Now, it's a real struggle to get people to drop that kind of money just because of the form factor and maybe some additional stuff, right? $1,500, $1,800 or $2,000 is really not chump change. So it's going to be a rough battle for Samsung to fully convert people to foldable phones, despite the fact that it is cutting edge technology. Now, we did start off with foldable tablets, but it's just that you can't talk foldable tablets without talking foldable phones in general, simply because that's the one medium that has been getting accepted by many people out there who now see the pragmatic value of these types of phones in their daily lives. Well, I actually take some of that back. When I say pragmatic, I don't necessarily mean that all foldable phones are, practical to the same extent, right? So, and you might disagree with me. If you look at something like the Razr, maybe the fact that it folds is not very rooted in just the practicality of it, but more so in the nostalgia, if I can say it that way, right? It's just because it's a great reminder of such a great phone from way back in the day. The Motorola Razr some years back when the original came out. And I think with Motorola coming back with this one that is foldable, it's just because it reminds us of that original one, which was just a beauty, but it's not that it's really that much value from it to fold it down so that it could just be a couple or a few more inches smaller. You also have something like the Z Flip. It's a phone that is loved by so many people, but then again, in my opinion, many people just like it because you can just whip it out and just that snapping sound that it makes when you whip it out is just so satisfying, right? So just like the Razr phone, the practical part of the folding mechanism cannot, it doesn't equate what you have with a Z Fold, which opens up literally to a tablet. So in my opinion, if there's one phone out of these foldable phones, from which you would get the most tangible value from just the folding mechanism, that's going to be the Z Fold 2 or the Z Fold 3 that's coming up. It opens up to a large screen and it increases your productivity. And we can't talk folding phones without talking about something like the Surface Duo, which of course also opens up to a very cool way of opening, and you have kind of that dual screen mode, that dual display mode. Again, that also increases productivity. Plus, it looks like a book, so it gets you in a more serious mode when you open that phone. Also, it's super thin, so in terms of convenience and carrying that thing, it's just beautiful. And then the last one that I want to bring up here is going to be the LG G8X. That double screen foldable is, it may not be a true foldable like the other ones, the unibody foldable phones that open into one main screen, but still, it's a phone that you can fold overall and help your productivity. But anyway, with all of that being said, here's my take, and I have been sticking by this take for a long time. The future is foldable, and by that I mean that foldable phones and foldable devices are going to be normalized at some point in the future. And I also don't mean that it's literally going to eradicate or just get rid of the traditional form factor. I personally think they are going to coexist. Just like at one point you had the current form factor coexisting with the flip phones, right? So I just think they're going to coexist. At one point, for a long time, I'm thinking, but the foldable phones at one point are going to be just your normal phone. Like when you go, you can either pick up a foldable device at an affordable price, just like you could pick up a regular traditional form factor at an affordable price. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Let me know what you think is going to be the future, or if you think this whole thing is just a gimmick and it's going to come crashing down very soon. Let me know. I'm going to catch you in that comment section like I always do, and I appreciate you watching this video up until now. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Again, up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.